Hello and welcome to module 3. So in this module we're actually going to go through and have a look exactly what you need to do in a digital site review. Now there's a lot of concepts going on behind the level here, or in the back end if you like, just psychology and the different ways of doing things. So really the first moment, the first time they interact with you after you've got their request for a site review. Now, normally I just pump traffic to a squeeze page. I'm not going to go in all about traffic generation to a squeeze page because that's a whole other product in itself. And I think many of you will be quite aware of how to actually do things like that. But I've been using forums and just people that I know in like business meetings, lunches, things like that. And whenever I speak to anyone, I never try and sell them anything. All I do is say, hey, go to my website, sign up, I'll do you a free digital site review, and then we'll go from there. So I think the key thing here is there's something which many of you may be familiar with, and it's something called a moment of truth. And what a moment of truth is in customer service terms, it's an instant of contact or interaction between a customer and a firm that gives the customer an opportunity to form or change, in this case, to form an impression about you. So, really important. If you think now that prospect has guaranteed they wouldn't have just contacted you. Everybody knows somebody that knows somebody these days that can do web development or SEO or social media or help them with the Google AdWords or video marketing, yada yada yada. There's lots of things. So really, after kind of jumping back to the introduction module, what we really want to do is really stand out. So the first thing we're going to do is create the screencast. But really, what you're doing here is you are going to be instantly the purple cow. They're going to be sat there literally thinking, WTF. They've not seen this at all. All the other competition, they've probably sent either an email or perhaps a phone call. More realistically, a quick PDF or spec on some of the research that they've done. So really, while they sat there just thinking, okay, this is totally different, what the hell is going on? We want to use this time now to gain authority, trust, and bonding, not sell them anything. This is way too early for that. This is all you want to do is focus on gaining authority, so making sure that you sound like you come across that you know a lot what you're talking about. I hope you do. Make them trust you, obviously by having your video in the site review. Massive help. That helps with the trust and the bonding. Now, really, all you need to do is, well, before I dive in here, there's another video in this module about me doing a kind of an example run of the things that I do. But I think very important, straight away, introduce yourself and thank them. Give them a little pat on the back. Everybody likes to seek approval, so just congratulate them. Say, hey, Guy here, nice one for signing up for a site review. It's really good that you're opening your eyes and realizing that you can actually use your website or online presence work for you a lot harder. But don't really dwell too much on that. Time's money, and your clients or your prospects are going to be quite busy. So really just dive straight in, have a look at the view page source, and what you're doing straight away is you're going from a nice pretty, or going from their website, and straight away you're already getting your authority across, because 9 times out of 10 they've got no idea that you can just go view source in your browser, have a look at the video that comes with this, as I said, and it will go through how to do that if you don't know. But then straight away you've got all their HTML, and you can start looking at things like the meta information, look at the keywords, because we'll need that for the next stage, see the kind of markets they're in. And again, guaranteed they're not really going to have the best meta information in there, so you can make good suggestions. You can see, have they got Google Analytics installed? If not, that's instantly you've got a little $50 upsell that you can tie into the pitch later on. But you can also do a quick SEO scan and see how they're doing for their on-site. I'm not going to again go into heavy details here about what a decent SEO or on-site SEO will look like, because presumably you already know majority of that. But if you just look at their tags and their kind of alt tags, things like that, have they got the keywords in the content? I'm sure you're getting my drift. But really, all you're doing is you're just totally straight away. They're thinking, this guy knows what he's talking about. And if you can give them little one-line tips, so you can say, oh yeah, here's a good. You've got an image here, and it's just saved as imgo76.jpg, and your site's, I don't know, maybe they're a dentist in your local area. If you just recommend to say, well, hey, you need to start, if you start saving these images as your niche, your area.jpg, then you can start giving them sort of quick results. But once you've done that, if you go up to their meta information, just copy their keywords and then throw it into Google Insight, straight away you're again getting your authority across, and you're visibly showing them the trends in their marketplace. And then on Google Insights, if you haven't used it, you can see where the market is, the associated keywords that they're looking for. It's not thorough keyword research, but it's certainly a great quick way of actually showing people an analysis of their market. Now, you don't need to dwell on in Google Insights for that long. I think the key thing is, as soon as they start seeing the fact that you know how to visibly and quickly look at trends and insights within their marketplace, they're going to be instantly starting to trust you now and think, well, actually, this guy really knows what he's talking about. And then you can jump straight in to do a quick health check on the site. Again, this is a great way of getting some instant upsells for the pitch later on. You could just go to the W3C validation site, chuck in their URL, and then it will give you a list of lots of little things that is wrong with their site. So straight away they get me thinking, oh, crikey, I didn't realize that I paid X amount for the website, or perhaps they've done it themselves and they're looking for sort of like help and information to actually take it further. But if you can then, what you do, you pretty much, you're scaring them. I mean, some sites I've done a health check for have had almost over 100 errors. So straight away when they watch the video, they phone you back and say, can you give me a quote just to actually fix all these errors? And if you don't want to do it yourself, you can just pass it on to a developer that or someone that you find online, and then just cash intake. I think 20-30% seems to be about sort of like the average price that's bouncing around. But really what you're doing is you're showing them, well, not only have you showed them that the meta information, the actual page source, so you've already kind of got the upper hand. You've then identified and looked at their market, and you've looked at their trends, and now you're actually giving them, in England we have something called an MOT, which is every year you have to take your car, get it MOT'd, and they give you a checklist of things that you need to do to to actually pass it, to keep your car on the road. Obviously the internet doesn't have that, there's no restrictions, but if you kind of associate it to a similar concept, you're straight away, they know that they've got things that they need to do. You already know what they are because you brought it out to them. So when they do make that purchasing decision, you are going to be right at the forefront. But once you've done that, you jump back to the actual homepage and you can start looking at things like the design and layout. Does the website need updating? Is it a completely unfriendly user layout? Are they doing things like email opt-ins? Have they got their social media? Are they blogging? And then the more things they are doing, the more in-depth you can go. I think you only need to spend about 5 or 6 minutes really scanning through it. But really what you're doing is you're giving them ideas of work that you could offer them or later on in the pitch stage. So you're totally putting everything on the table and saying, hey, you've got all these errors, your market, some of your keywords that you look for is a dying market, some of the other ones are better. If you rehash the content and you kind of change the design and layout, maybe use video, you're kind of giving lots of little golden nuggets in their hands that then they can, at the back of their mind, they'll be constantly thinking about, because they'll be gripped on every word. And really you can then at the next stage, at the sort of like the pre-sale period, which we'll talk about in a minute, come back to some of the points you're making. They'll have questions to ask, but then you can have a long list of little jobs or big jobs, depending however you want to play this. It's really important to really focus on what you want to offer them at this stage. Don't just start. I mean, this is one of the mistakes I made in the first year. I just literally find out anything that I could do and then just make a sale. And some of the things that I hated doing, I absolutely hate going through and doing all the structure work on the site and doing on-site SEO and things like that. And it wasn't really where I wanted to take my business. So if you actually think when you're doing your homepage analysis, you effectively now have got an open invite to actually pre or suggest things that you want to do and that you can do. Don't dwell on things that aren't going to bring you any money in and take a long time. Focus on the bigger things. It might be, a complete rebuild for a website, which I quite often get. It might be sorting out an email marketing system, and you can already say, hey, with that, you're not getting people's email addresses, and this is the most important thing that you should be doing really right now. You can see it's working because you've come to my site and you've opted in, and now I'm making this video and I'm bonding with you, and you're kind of telling them what you're doing. And I found that actually gains respect because you're being so upfront with them. You're not kind of trying to be sneaky. And some people, some big agencies and everything, they try and sell, rubbish stuff that no one really needs, at a real high ticket, and use a scare tactic. If you're actually showing them it's working because they're watching your video and their grip, that they know it is, they know email marketing works, they know the power of video, which is something that I more often than not sell to my clients, so they can actually see it working. So it's really important to think about what you want to offer them and then bring that in to the actual homepage analysis. Now, at the end of the video, you don't really want to sell them. You don't want to do anything like that. All you want to do, what I found works best for me, is I want them to add me to Skype. And if I can get them on Skype, you can go away then and you can actually Skype with them. It's the perfect platform to do a pre-sale. Now we're going to go more into that in another module, what you do on Skype with them, because it's exactly the same as this. You need to think about the things that you've seen that they need, listen to the things that they want, what you want to offer them, so you almost need to pre-plan it, and you can do lots of very clever little things in Skype, to like screen sharing things, to really get your authority across and a bit of trust, and certainly a lot of bonding. Now, I've already said in the actual overall formula, there will be a period of time where perhaps they don't have Skype yet. So they need to go off and download it, and everybody takes a couple of days generally doing things. So when you create your site review and you actually upload it to a back-end password protected WordPress page, that's all it is effectively, on your website, in the navigation, strip everything else out. Don't sell them anything. I've tried that, doesn't work, or certainly didn't work for me. But just have 3 or 4 videos. Again, we'll talk about what the kind of videos that I've been using that are sat there waiting for them. So once they've watched your site review and they're totally, awestruck and sat there thinking, this is pretty cool, I really like this guy, they're straight away, there's other stuff that they can go and watch, which will then start saving time massively in the stroking period and making sure that you do totally stand out. And when they do come to making that purchasing decision, that none of your other competitors have done, half as well as you. They probably don't even know their name. And it's only taken you about 20 minutes to half an hour, depending on how long the site review is. I always average at about 10 minutes. So by the time I allow for setting up the pages and having a quick scan, that's 10 minutes. 10 minutes shoot the video, 10-minute export and publish on my back-end site. So what we're going to do is, in the next module, we get to talk more about what happens next. And once they've watched your video, whilst they're adding you to Skype and you're trying to organise a great time, we can actually talk about the free videos that you give to give them some results in advance and to really automate the process. So see you there.